welcome to Warparty Afterparty. My name's Ryan.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Connor.
Alright guys, so big, huge movement in 40K this past month. Got new rules.
Yep, good
Kind of a
old
big deal.
7th edition.
Yeah,
Yeah.
full on 7th edition. There was a lot of rumoring and stuff on the interwebs and talk of possibly a 6.1 and maybe just an update. Nope, it's a full-blown 7th edition.
Yep.
I think there's tons and tons of changes, and it would be really hard in this video to capture all the changes. So really what I want to do is kind of hit on everybody's favorite kind of spots.
For sure.
But my favorite is everything, sir.
it really, realistically, it is a great overall book.
Mhm.
I mean, they obviously listened to the players. They knew what we wanted,
Right.
and they put that out there.
Yeah. So far, it's been a lot of fun.
One thing that I noticed, especially with, at least with GW listening to the players, is as soon as 6 came out, the first thing out of everyone's mouth was, "Oh, my close combat army. That was fun playing." And now they fixed that, I think, especially with charging into cover and how it really, they really changed the dynamic of the game. You see charges actually happening a lot more.
Yeah, and I think that there's a lot of different changes that they listened and they fixed things. They broke some things, but that's okay. Everybody learns, and it was the things that are broken are really fun to play. So I know for me personally, one of the things that, as I mentioned, that's breakable, but is also really fun, is the unbound armies.
Yep.
No force organization.
Yeah.
Pow!
I'm gonna bring all the drones.
I'm actually looking forward to playing that list.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
But yeah, no, I mean, with Unbound Armies, I mean, I've only played against one at the low points level, but from what I can tell, the Unbound Army is, I mean, you can really put it in whatever kind of hat you want it to be. The one I played against, since it was a low points level, they wanted to maximize their amount of troops they were putting out on the battlefield, especially since they had specialist troops like Nurgle guys. So it was kind of cool to see my force be a little bit smaller, but have more tools in its bag for dealing with stuff. Because I did get to take an HQ with his special abilities, so
Right.
it was kind of nice.
Well, and I think the other cool thing to see about it is, to a degree, it makes it more fluffy, because
Right.
you can imagine these situations where the Imperium has heard about this Tau world that's incredibly hostile, and they need to send in nothing but a whole bunch of Terminators to take care of them,
Right.
rather than having the Terminators slowed down by these tactical Marines.
Yeah, or you can actually play parts of a battle, like how, when you play the Imperial Guard, yeah, most of the lines are going to be filled up with your rank and file, but when you want to play those, like in the Imperial Guard, the elite section, the Tempestus Scions, backed up by only Lehman Russes for that real center point of their assault, you can do that now, where it's you can play that specific part of the battle that's going to determine the whole war zone. So
Yeah, I think gameplay aside, rules aside, it makes it for a much more dynamic game.
Mhm.
You're not just playing a whole army, kind of thing. You can play, like you said, specific things.
Right.
I think rules-wise, it's definitely interesting as well. I know you've talked about the whole 91 drone,
97.
97 drone.
1,500 points. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to play you in that game.
Yep.
And one thing I've noticed since you played an Unbound Army, and something that I've noticed people doing with their Unbound armies, is the first thing they do is say, "I'm playing Unbound," or "I'm playing this list."
Right.
And you give me, everyone I've met has given me details about their list, so that I'm not unprepared.
Right.
So, I mean, it's something that was the same before in other editions, but is even more prevalent now. It's more important who you're playing your game with.
Yes, absolutely. This is definitely all about playing with the right people. Because, I mean, it's definitely potentially very abusable to play Unbound in, standard pickup games and stuff. But if you set up a game with someone going into it being like, this is what's happening, do you want to play this list? And you have a way to make your army to where the game's fun.
Yeah.
You're not just going to show up and get blown out. by something ridiculous.
Yeah, and one thing that I want to note is that with you telling me that, I'm still going to be playing a Battleforged army. It's just I'm going to be including different things than I normally do. And it's also not only to fight your Unbound list, but also to fit the theme of your Unbound list, which is more of a scouting party, right?
Yeah, yeah. The way I see it is, that many drones, just like the Tau just sent it out as a, go scout this area, and then we're going to run into your scouting kind of army, and then it'll be an epic duel of scouts.
Light armor! It'll be a good time.
Yeah, no, and I definitely think that it will make tournaments interesting, to say the least. As the TO, the resident 40k TO, I'm not necessarily 100% looking forward to TOing Unbound armies and listening to that frustration coming out of the players.
Right.
But in the same right, I could say, as the TO, I could say, this is a Battleforged tournament.
Right.
Or something along those lines. And so I think, well, it is scary at the formative time of the new edition right now to look forward and say I need to plan a tournament for these rules. I think as time goes by, it's going to balance out, and there's a lot of complaints of, this isn't a balanced edition. I think it, by definition, is not. By the new rules, it does do a certain amount of unbalancing, but it's on the players to then balance it from there. It's not, GW is not going to hold your hand and balance your game for you.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's kind of neat too, in that you're meta at a store, so this store may come with a Battleforged meta.
Right.
We as Griffins here may become a Battleforged kind of club, whereas some other store may be running a lot of Unbound armies. And I think that creates an interesting opportunity for a lot of new lists coming out.
Yeah.
And a lot of different things on the table.
I'm just going to only play Riptides.
Okay.
All
That's fine.
And then when I get tired of my Tau, I'm going to switch back over to Chaos and only play Demon Princes. It'll be fun.
Yeah. I can fly in Demon Princes.
Mm-hmm. Well, naturally.
Yeah, but then his Tau can't laser them out of the sky.
Oh.
Take that, Marker Light.
Well, cool.
So what do you have to say about this new edition? Or
I have never thought about running Psychers before. I felt they were, how do I say, it's not like they were bad or even like I didn't get what they were doing. Like, yeah, they're channeling the warp, whatever. But now it feels more like it's less these warp batteries that generate their psychic powers every turn reliably, like they can do this thing every turn, blah, blah, blah. Now it's Space Wizards! It's awesome! Like, you roll randomly for the the amount of dice you get, plus your wizard levels, so like, not wizard, sorry, my bad, I have a fancy thing there, but Psyker mastery levels. And so you get these, you get the ability to really kind of build some like dice into your list, but also you get that kind of possibility of playing with 1 to 6 more, which is really cool. But one thing I really enjoy about the I really enjoy about it is that you get this. The other person gets the amount of dice that they would get normally on their turn, but they just need 6s to stop you. I really enjoy that, partially because you have this chance to take them down. It also makes Adamantine Will really good. So I guess I really like it because it feels more like space magic and less like expending charges out of a warp battery.
yeah, and I like the D6 extra charges a game, or a turn, partially because you never saw those high warp charge powers.
Yeah, you only saw the warp charge 1 or 2.
Yeah, you'd only see the warp charge 1 or 2 guys frequently on the board. And 9 times out of 10, you're only seeing the Primaris power.
Right.
Which, again, they've kind of adjusted in this book by giving you that Primaris power.
Right, yeah.
If you focus your Psychers into the right, into the disciplines and such, they get the Primaris power for free.
Yeah.
Which is awesome, because, that makes it a lot more enticing to go full divination and get prescience for free.
It's pre-science. You get pre-science. Before science, there was only guessing ahead.
you get prescience for free rather
Right.
than having to take up a whole slot with it.
Right. Yeah, so you get 2 powers that, if for some reason you decide prescience isn't what you want to use that turn, you can go ahead and do one of the other divination powers, which is pretty cool.
I think it makes Psychers more flexible.
Yeah.
Also, one thing, as playing an Imperial Guard Psyker, as I would be playing Imperial Guard Psychers, I have this really funny image. Like, I'm really excited to fail and have a parallel warp attack. Partially because I have this really funny image of, like, this guy zapping a bunch of dudes with lightning, and then his head just literally exploding. Like, it's something that happens now. I love how you can get, like, dragged into the warp, or you know, your head just blows up or just scatters everyone around you, and oh man, it's so cool because it feels more 40K.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one reason I really like the new rules, is because it makes me, like, when I read a story in a fluff book or read something from a codex, I feel more like I'm enacting that than when I played 7th edition than when I played 6th, 5th,
Right.
and 4th.
Right. And that kind of ties back into the Unbound armies, you know. You read that story in a fluff book and you can play it now, which is cool.
Yeah. So, how about yourself there?
I really like the new like tactical missions. You know, your game is always changing while you're playing it. And we kind of, when 6th edition came out, the standard missions got old really quick. You know, because you're playing the same 6 games week after week. And then we got lucky enough to have custom mission cards created.
Mm-hmm.
And so that brought a lot of variety to the game, but these are that, but also change while you're playing the game. It's like, okay, for this turn, I have to go get objective number 4, but the next turn, you might have to go all the way back across the board, which presents a really interesting challenge and variety to the game. And it'd be really cool if we could figure out a way to interlock those with the objective cards that we had previously. So
Yeah.
it just like, the game is never going to be the same every time you play it, and then it helps keep it from being boring, you know.
Right. Yeah, I felt like, even with the objective cards that we had from one of our members, well, they were great because they provided like 9 primaries, 9 secondaries, and 9 tertiaries.
Mhm.
It was still, you were playing that mission the whole game.
Right, yeah.
Which I really like the idea of it evolving. Part of it goes back to what we've talked about so many times already in this video, which is the fluffiness of 7th edition.
Right.
You know, in a real battle, you're going to get to, let's say, an objective that's nothing of interest.
Right.
You're going to go, oh crap, that's nothing of interest. I better haul butt over here and pick that up.
Yeah.
That's
Or-
something I was thinking about today, because I can totally imagine, like, I was playing the guard today, and I can totally imagine, like, this misinformed superior officer saying, we have reports of a psyker on the field, hunt them down, or something like that, to a CO. And then these they're like looking around the battlefield, and then I rolled the hunt down a psyker, it was hunt down a psyker, and so then they'd be looking around, and next turn I discarded it because they were like, sir, wrong battlefield.
These are Tau. They don't know how to do that.
Yeah, it was really cool though, because I mean, like there you can really kind of imagine this evolving, changing face of war.
Right.
And I think it also eliminates, there was a certain amount, or there is a certain amount, and there always will be this certain amount of players who learn to play the book missions. They learn to play those missions really well. They know particularly how to pick up the relic, and they have these specific strategies for getting the relic, or they have these specific strategies for how to do this. Well, with the dynamic mission objectives, it's not necessarily a thing anymore. You can't plan to draw the same mission every game.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to require you to focus on, like, it's going to make people focus on making good snap decisions. Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, you're like, okay, if I sit here for 20 minutes going over whether I should go for that objective or that objective this turn, my opponent's going to get pissed. So you kind of make up things on the fly. Like,
Right.
if you were actually commanding these guys, you wouldn't sit around for 5 minutes going, do I want to go after objective number 3 or kill his commander?
Right.
You would be like, okay, he's a high value asset, go after him, or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, I was playing a game with one of our orc players, and it was like, the unit of orcs was coming at me, while another unit of orcs back behind them was just going back and forth on the table, because they had to keep going to different places, and it was just funny, because I'm sure You know, the fire warriors are like, what are they doing?
I love that image. Just like,
Dude, should we shoot them? I don't know what to do. So it's kind of it helps keep the game fun and entertaining, I think.
yeah, for sure.
Also, a kind of weird point is just I like the layout of the new book. It's very aesthetically pleasing the way they laid everything out. It's kind of
No doubt. I like having some, like, instead of having the stuff that the section I most often reference, the special rules,
Mhm.
like the dead center of the book. I like
Yeah.
having it at the end. Like, just
Yeah.
flip right to the back.
Yep.
I also really like, speaking on that, kind of talking on form and function of the book, I like the 3-book system.
Yes, the 3 books is awesome. Because now you can carry around the standard big book without carrying around like 80 pounds.
Yeah.
And you can just grab the rules, leave the fluff and the pictures at home, and there's really necessarily no need to have the smaller rule book at this point in time. Still nice to have a small rule book, but it's not needed because it's the same size as your codex. So it just fits in really well with that.
And here's to hoping someday this will be sold on its own.
That'd be sick.
Right now they're selling, all 3 books in one.
Right.
But it'd be really, I think it'd be really neat to see them opened up and sold separately. So, you could buy the hobby book, or you could buy the fluff book, or you could buy the rules book.
Right.
Just because that way you kind of can a la carte it
Yeah.
a little bit more,
Mm-hmm.
which would be really nice.
It'd be really nice. I don't know if it'll happen.
I know.
But you can dream.
I can dream. No, I mean, you look at like a new player, they're not necessarily looking for the hobby section or the fluff section by and large. They're going to be wanting the rules.
I mean, from what can tell from most players, what they mostly have done already is read fluff. Like when they get to the point where they're like, I want to get into this game, want to play some stuff, want to play some games, they've already read like 2 or 3 books and played the video game. Like, that's actually the most common one. It's the
Yeah.
video game.
Yeah. Good old Dawn of War.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously. I mean, they've already kind of gone into that. So, I mean, I don't think it would really hurt them to put the rules out on their own.
Yeah.
I really love the, in the back though, there's the back section, there's like how to dress a lasgun wound. It's pretty fantastic because it's like, it's talking about, all the different ways to bandage it up. It's like, if they get hit in any major organ, just cover it up. Can't do anything. I don't know. It's
Smile and nod.
just smile and nod. No, it's like, I don't know, because they even include, like, I guess it's just one thing I really like about the fluff book is it definitely does convey the feel of 40K very well.
Yeah. The one thing I liked about the fluff book and the main rule books, both in 40K and fantasy, is if you start with just the rule book, it gives you a small sampling of all the available races to see what you might want to go with.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you don't have a whole lot of experience with the fluff already, you kind of get okay, here's a small snippet of Tau, here's a small snippet of Guard, here's a small snippet of Space Marines. And it kind of can help you in choosing which codex you're going to buy at that point in time. That was something I was really liked about the core rulebooks and the fluff, so I would still probably stick with buying the fluff because it's pretty cool. It has interesting things in there that don't necessarily make it into the codexes.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
Well, I think that about wraps it up for us here at Warparty Afterparty. I'm Ryan.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Connor.
Remember, guys, get your games in.